Hi, this is Brendan playing Dark Souls 1. I haven't fully figured out how to sync audio, so either this will get released synced properly, or it won't. I'm not going to release it if it's super out of sync. And if I have to record it again, well, I'll just get better at running over the first part of this game. So Dark Souls 1 came out in 2011, and it's in my top 10 games. And until now, it's been I haven't actually played through it, and it became my top 10 games during grad school. I watched a few Let's Plays of this game all the way through, including the fantastic KayPlays. And since then, I've sort of learned a ton about this game, and I kind of wanted to go through the game because I should probably play a game that's one of my favorites, but also so I can point out the things that excited me in watching all these different Let's Plays of it and learning things about the game. Okay, so this is the character select screen. One of the things that's really important about this game is that it doesn't tell you anything about anything. So you have all these stats, and who knows what they mean. You have to choose a class and a gift, and who knows what any of those mean. I've already made my orange man. For class, I'm going to choose Thief. So Thief starts with a dagger and a shield, which makes him really good at backstabs and parries, and but not fantastic at just sort of straight up hitting people. So maybe it's a little bit trickier of a starting class than the two defaults really are Knight and Warrior. The benefit of that is that he actually starts with the Master Key, which is one of the gifts. So when I look through all the gifts really quickly, he also, in addition to the gift you choose, he starts with the Master Key. And I guess we can go right into that. So basically, the Master Key is a key that opens a whole bunch of different doors that otherwise you would have to get keys to, or unlock from specific directions and that sort of thing. And so you can use the Master Key to bypass a lot of content. That's not what I'm going to be doing in this run, but I just like the flexibility of being able to open certain things a little bit before you might get the key to otherwise do that. A good example to anyone who knows Dark Souls is opening the Depths bonfire before getting the key to it outside of the giant rat. Not that that's super far away, but if I get a little bit turned around, if I'm in a scary situation, I want to be able to just open that bonfire really quickly without having to run further ahead and get the key and come back. Most of these, are they're helpful in very specific points. So another limited use healing item's good. Black fire bombs are really useful if you're having trouble with the first boss. I think is probably the most common time to use black fire bombs. Humanities, gosh, I feel like we'll have to spend half an episode talking about humanities while I keep dying over and over in some grindy place. Binoculars are secretly a terrible gift since you can get them almost immediately upon entering the main game. The pendant doesn't do anything, especially because I'm playing the Xbox 360 version, which does not have a Prepare to Die edition, and I don't have the DLC. The pendant gets used to access the DLC. Master Key I talked about. Tiny Being's Ring is, it's the first equipment you can get. It slowly recovers hit points. And the old Witch's Ring does nothing except lets you talk to a specific sort of non-human witch later in the game. And there's a way to get it, but it's like really convoluted and kind of a hassle. And so I'm just going to start with the old Witch's Ring. If I ever want to enter that covenant, I don't have to go through all the hassle. Alright, so here's our character, Sir Herp of Derp. And let's get started. And 1, 2, 3, accept. Okay. I'm going to skip this cutscene. I'm sure you can find it somewhere on YouTube. I'm worried about content ID nonsense. And just the time of this video, I don't want it to go super long, so we'll skip ahead. one of the things that I really enjoy about this game, and I noticed especially from watching KayPlays' Let's Play,
Yes,
is that
indeed.
there are a lot of sort of
The
small
dark
decisions in
sign
this game,
brands the
design-wise,
undead.
that really slowly teach you the game. I mean,
And in
the whole
this
game's sort of
land,
about this implicit learning idea. You know, your character does level up, and
the
you can make your
undead
weapon
are
stronger and
hard
deal more
and
damage and all this stuff.
true.
But really, the thing that's mostly leveling up is your knowledge of the game inside your own
Where
head.
they are
And
locked away.
I'm super into
await
the
the
idea
end of the
of
world.
that sort of thing in games. So I've played a lot of sort of puzzle X games, you know, puzzle platformers, first-person puzzlers like Antichamber.
This is your
I'm really into this idea of the thing that levels up is your understanding of the game more than a bunch of arbitrary numbers inside the game itself. Let's get that. Stop chattering. All right. I love, so let me pull off my hood here. One of my favorite things about this game is that you can spend tons of time creating your awesome character with your awesome face and everything, and then you immediately start the game undead and hollowed, and you look like a horrible zombie. It's like really, really funny to me. All right, you'll notice. Hey, we started with a dagger and a shield, but all we have this stupid broken straight sword hilt. I mean, that's dumb. We get those later. I think it's a pretty clever idea, just like not starting with anything, and having you sort of slowly learn the system. Okay, here's the thing that a lot of new players have trouble with, and I'm probably going to have trouble with. You'll notice I can walk around here, but I still have that menu up in the corner. And actually, if I go into this menu, you can see I still run around. So there's no way to pause the game. And in fact, if I try to do something here, I'll start moving around in the menu. So I need to back fully out of the menu here before I can interact with the world. And yeah, sometimes I'll probably forget to do that, and it'll kill me. So hopefully, if anyone actually watches this Let's Play, they'll have some fun time screaming at me sometime because I've failed to put my menu away. Also, I apologize for doing a little bit of this camera swinging around. It's going to take some getting used to remember that people might be watching this, and those people might get sick if I just twirl the camera while I'm talking and doing nothing. Alright, let's start our adventure. Dungeon cell key, thanks, man. Oh, why not? I was trying to break some things to show how rolling breaks things. Apparently can't do that. I know all kinds of things about this game. They're brilliant. Alright, so the first thing you have to do in this game is you have to pick something up, and you have to use it on the door right in front of you. So that's like first step. And this is a little scary, very noticeable. Oh, it's just a message. It tells me how to use the camera controls. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, there's some other cells. Alright, and we learn to attack, and then there's a guy there. It's pretty clear what the game wants you to do. Right? There's this guy who won't fight back. He literally just will piteously walk away from you. And then you learn how to do a strong attack. What I love, okay, so this is just a great piece of design. For a lot of people, they're just learning how to do the game, they're trying to figure things out. They see this dead thing here, and maybe they hear like a crunching sound, and they don't even think about it, right? They're still trying to figure out the game, they're reading these messages, they're learning about the controls, and then later they fight the tutorial boss at the end of this, the Asylum Demon, and they still hear the sounds of the Asylum Demon's footfalls after the demon dies. And actually, oh look at that, there's a gigantic demon right there. And all you had to do was in the first hallway, look to the right and you could see it. And this is actually under sort of the main boss area. And when you come back here much later in the game, it's kind of a trap that you fall into. And you have to fight this much harder version of the Asylum Demon. But he's always there, and it's just beautiful. You know, I've seen a few Let's Plays where people are learning how to play the game at the beginning here. Oh, let's try this new strong attack with me. So strong. And they come back here and they see this asylum demon and they say, was he always there the whole time, right? Or they come back here to come back to the original cell. I think when you come back later, there's a black knight near your cell, and then you look to your left and you're like, oh, there's the asylum demon. There's this extra demon. Was he always there? Yeah, he was always there since the beginning of the game. It's just most people, you know, don't look to the right. So that's pretty sweet. And it also starts, it's the very start of one of my favorite things about this game, which is sort of hinting at future goals, right? Letting you know, oh, at some point, you're probably going to go in there because there's actually like a thing walking around in there. They do this all the time with those sort of treasure flames, right? Where they put a treasure, you wonder, oh, am I supposed to like go there? Can I ever get there? And then you see a treasure flame glowing there, and you, well, of course, I'm going to be able to pick up that treasure flame at some point. So that's really cool. I'm going to try not to spend too much time belaboring some of the design decisions in the Asylum, just because Extra Credits has done a great sort of design. They're in the middle of a great design at Let's Play of this game. And I think a lot of their design commentary is very focused on the beginning of that Let's Play. So I'll just like briefly point out some things. Like when you come here, there's some nice framing. Oh look, target lock, and there's a character right there. And I can press it, and I'm locked on this character. You can see how many hits it takes me to kill this with this little sword hilt. It's fine. Oh, lattice. How do I use lattice? Well, not like that. That's a roll. I guess to talk a little bit about, you know, some of the mechanics in the game. You can see here, even if you don't know anything about the game, you're trying to figure it out. You noticed there's what's in sort of the bottom left here. It's like, some kind of inventory, maybe, right? In the bottom right, there's this number, which if you were especially observant, which you might not be at this point in the game, you might notice that that number went up when I killed things. So those are the souls, right? Which is sort of our experience / currency of the game. And in the top right, we have a red thing, which is probably our health. Nothing's attacked us. And then we have this green thing that goes down every time I attack. Oh look, my health went down because I fell off something. So that's our stamina bar, and you know that's kind of the core of this whole game, is that everything takes stamina. Attacking takes stamina, rolling takes stamina, blocking when we eventually get a chance to block takes stamina. And so managing that stamina is the dance that is the combat of this game. There's also this number 00 here, which is a sort of our number of humanities. That doesn't make any sense right now. I'll explain it later when, like I said, when I have a lull, I'll try to explain the humanity system and what I like about it. Specifically, you know, one of the things that I could talk about now that I like about it is that they introduce you to humanities much earlier in the game than like you sort of learn anything about the system, which is kind of cool, and is like almost everything in this game. There's almost nothing sort of unfair as long as you're paying attention, right? Like, I've seen people use items in the wrong way that are one-use items and that sort of thing, but most of the time, that's from not paying attention. At this point, you'll notice we haven't even learned from these little markers how to open our menu yet. So the only way that you would manage to do that is if you're like, oh, I'm going to go pause the game and do something, and you might come back to the game and realize that, oh, it didn't pause. That's weird, right? And that's how you learn that. Alright, let's light this bonfire. Bonfires are our save points. We get to refill all our health by resting at them. And it also brings back all the enemies, which I'll show later. I think that's enough blabbing for now. You know, I think 15 minutes is like a good video time. So I'm just going to stop it here, and we'll come back in a bit.